Aspire Sports Show. I'm your host, Tyler, and I'm going to be talking about the Monday night DFS slate here. Well, not DFS, but the Monday night games. I'm going to be talking about the DFS, though. Talking about some players that maybe you should own, shouldn't own. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Remember, if you like this content, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. We'd really appreciate it, and thank you for watching. So, I want to talk about the quarterback position here now. This is just my quick take on all of it, okay? First off, I don't like to throw a lot of money into these. This isn't a single game slate, so it's not that bad because there's going to be two games. And this is going to help you when we get to the playoffs and have these couple game slates here. So, what I like to do in these slates, me personally, is I like to fade the chalk. I like to fade the chalk a lot of the time, but especially in these slates because right now, especially like Ezekiel Elliott, he's projected to be the highest owned player in this slate by like 80%. So, like me personally, yes, he could have a great game, but in case he doesn't, I like to fade the chalk and play somebody else. That way you get a major advantage. Or you're sitting at a major disadvantage. But I don't throw that much money into these kind of slates, so it's not too that bad. So I like to just fade the chalk. So first thing, let's talk about the quarterbacks here. I think all the quarterbacks really are in play here. I'd imagine Patrick Mahomes, which he's projected to be the high, or actually Kyler Murray, sorry. Kyler Murray's actually projected to be the highest owned player, and it makes sense just because of, first off, Dallas's defense is terrible. He has the rushing upside potential. Right now he's projected to be the highest owned player. Then you have Patrick Mahomes, second there. I think he's a good play as well. I mean, really, all these quarterbacks are a good play. The two that I'm honestly looking at, though, is Josh Allen and Andy Dalton because they're lower owned. Me personally, I like Andy Dalton. Once again, I'm not somebody who's really worried about this offense going forward. I think Andy Dalton's more than capable of leading this offense. So at this price point range of, especially on FanDuel at 7,000, I just think he's somebody that's really easy to get to. Plenty of stacking options with him. So I like to pay down. That way I can get some of the other studs elsewhere. Or I like to go Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's a really good play. Patrick Mahomes, obviously best quarterback in the league, second behind Russell Wilson. Yes, I said it. Behind Russell Wilson. But Josh Allen's also a good play. Running backs, I mean, I already talked about it. Zeke's probably going to be the highest owned player on this entire slate. The ownership is just going to be through the roof at the running back position or flex. So, yes, I think he's a really good play, but at the same time, I'm probably going to fade him, pivot, go to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's going to be probably the person I'm going to own, and then possibly play like Chase Edmonds, Kenyon Drake, or there's really nobody else. But I do like Devin Singletary. Yes, he didn't have that good of a week last week, but I don't think he's that bad of a play. Right now, he actually does project to be the second highest owned player on RotoWire at the running back position. We'll see if that actually happens. I think some people might be a little bit worried, going off of last week, but me personally, my favorite running back play is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Second, third, let's go into the wide receivers. Wide receivers, I mean, you have a lot of options. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins. I think Amari Cooper is going to be, right now, he's projected to be the highest owned wide receiver. But for me, I think he's a good play. But I really like CeeDee Lamb because last week he was seeing some targets out of the slot with Andy Dalton. And if you're going to play Andy Dalton, that's a good stacking option. Then obviously Stephon Diggs. He's probably my favorite wide receiver just because Josh Allen looks like laser focused on him. He's just forcing him the ball, getting plenty of opportunities. I love that. So I'm going to probably play. He's probably going to be my favorite wide receiver to own in this slate. But then you have some, if you want to go deeper, you're going to have Mecole Hardman, who is going to see a decent amount of snaps with Sammy Watkins out. If you want to kind of pivot off of him because he's going to be higher owned than the next person, Demarcus Robinson, who's also going to play a lot of snaps in this game as well. So which one do you really want to play? I think Hardman's really the better choice, but if you want to be contrarian, and that's what it's all about, right? If you want to be contrarian, then Demarcus Robinson makes a lot of sense to me. And then out of the Dallas wide receivers, Michael Gallup is probably going to be the least owned. And we saw last week, or not last week. Well, I guess it was last week, technically, right? Yeah, because it's still this week. So, yeah, last week he had a couple of deep catches from Andy Dalton and made some really good catches. Like, those were pretty spectacular catches with the defender all over him on the sideline. So, he's a good play as well. And Christian Kirk, I'll give him an honorable mention. Remember, this Dallas defense is terrible. So Christian Kirk could be a decent play, especially because he's cheaper on the cheaper end. What is his salary on DraftKings or FanDuel? Right now on FanDuel, he's 5,600. So a cheaper option if you want to be able to get some of the studs in this lineup. Let's go to tight end where you're going to have Travis Kelsey, the highest owned tight end, which makes sense. Just he's an absolute stud. And then Dalton Schultz, but my favorite one is Tyler Kroft because you're not going to have I can't remember what the other tight end in Buffalo is. Let's cut that. Cut that real quick, and I'm going to Buffalo tight end Dawson Knox. Okay, so I'm going to pick that up I'm just going to pick up the tight end position. So 3, 2, 1. And let's go ahead into the tight end position here. The first one obviously is going to be Travis Kelsey. He's going to be the highest owned tight end in this slate. You're going to have, which makes sense because he's an absolute stud, right? And then you have Dalton Schultz. He's projected right now to be the second highest owned tight end in this slate. Me personally, if you're not going to play Kelsey, my favorite one would be Tyler Kroft. He had 2 touchdowns last week. Dawson Knox isn't going to play in this game, so to me, Tyler Kroft makes the most sense. So if you don't want to pay for Kelsey, I would go Tyler Kroft. And then defense, defense, you're just throwing a dart. I'd probably going to play the cheapest, Dallas. They're at least at home. Just that way I can get the other studs in my lineup. Yes, it's not the greatest play, but if you want, who do you want to play? Dallas, Kansas City, or not Dallas or Kansas City, Buffalo or Kansas City, Arizona? Like, I don't know who to play, so I'd rather just pay for the cheapest defense, in my opinion, in Dallas. That way I have more opportunity, more cash to buy different players, different studs. So that's my quick take on tonight's game. We're going to be releasing content here daily. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for whenever we go live or post new content. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and good luck tonight, everyone.